person who talks about things. So I've recorded a couple videos and then I ended up not putting them out because I didn't like them. Trying to make sense of everything and feeling like I have control over making sense of everything, even if I can't make sense of it. Does that make sense? Feels weird talking to myself because I've mostly been talking to a baby that half responds, depends on how interesting my face looks in that moment. For those of you who don't know, I had a baby last November, so I've been very busy providing sustenance for him and, raising the little worm. I love him. I felt like I needed to clarify that I love him because I made him sound like a pain. So I had this title for a live stream that I ended up taking down because I was like too stumbly bumbly for my taste. And some people asked, what did you think of Billie Eilish? So it's very clickbaity, the title, but for those of you way back when who are wondering what I talked about, it was the following. So pretty much, I think Billie Eilish is fantastic and I really like her and her music. And if I had to Myers-Briggs type her, I'd probably say ISFP actually, or she gives me SP vibes. Mostly I just had a thought that when people will say something like critical, our tendency is to get defensive. When it's us or someone we like, we'll be like, no they're not, or no I'm not, is our automatic reflex almost. Well, I feel like, so using her as, and her fans as like an analogy. Let's say you love Billie Eilish and you listen to her music and your dad says, I've never heard her really sing. She has such a soft voice, she just pretty much whispers. Instead of responding and saying, no she doesn't, no she can belt, listen to this video, she can do this, she can do that. What if you said, yeah, she does have a soft voice and there's a place for that and it's cool and I like it and she's really good at what she does. I feel like that is a more effective response and a more true response a lot of the times because honestly just agreeing with people gets them more on your side. Like, agreeing isn't necessarily being agreeable. If someone says like, wow, you really have a temper or something, instead of no I'm not, no I don't, maybe, I am feeling pretty angry and here's why. Like justifying the truth behind their observation, if it is truth. Because there is a lot of value in all different types of people, different types of sounds, and our emotions, and I think that we're just so quick to be on the defense that sometimes it's just something I've been kind of thinking of. Like I automatically want to be like, no, it's this. But sometimes it's a little bit of yes and. It can be both. Lots of gray area in the world. So another random thought. I have a bunch of friends who are having babies right now as well. And, well, they had them. They're raising them. And taking care of them. And it's challenging in different ways for all of us. But I was thinking of how it's like near impossible to be objective with whose experience is the hardest, because let's say there's an adjudicator that comes to all three friends' houses. They could measure the baby's temperament. They could say, oh, this baby doesn't cry as much, this baby sleeps longer, so it's like a relatively easy baby. But then they have the parent to consider. What is their temperament? Are they highly sensitive? Do they respond poorly to sleep deprivation? Do they, can they handle baby? Like, there are different aspects. Maybe someone is more nocturnal than the other and can handle more. And so if their threshold is higher, then their experience might be easier, even though they might have a harder baby, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's really hard to determine whose experience is hardest, because you can't be objective about the experience in and of itself, because you have, it's the response to the experience matters. Like the parent's how they can handle it matters. It's like, does the tree, when it falls, make a sound if you're not there, sort of thing. Like the baby might be difficult, sure, but how the parent receives it is an important part of the equation, and even then I think it's really hard to determine. I think it's really hard to be objective in general, to have an objective view of ourselves or others, and for others to have an objective view of us. It's just we all are seen through a filter, and it's just we'll never know what people's filters are really like, but we can guess and drive ourselves crazy, or we can just live on and do what we do. So having a baby, I feel like, is like a measurement of time that you see. It's tangible and it's cute. It being baby, he is cute. Cuter than a clock, which also measures time. But I feel like seeing him grow and everything, it's only been 2.5 months, but it's something that I feel like I could never anticipate. Like, I like to try and picture what things will be like and plan for it and prepare for it as much as I can. And there's like that controlling aspect in my personality where I want to perfect everything in the future, but it's also impossible because you can't really plan for how you'll respond or how anything will go, because you don't know. All you can do is be in the present. Eckhart Tolle. But yeah, this has been actually very challenging for me, this chapter, and it's also been very rewarding, and it's a lot of both and, ups and downs, highs and lows. It just goes to show that you don't know what something will be like until it happens, which is obvious, but we always try to, not all of us, but a lot of us will try to predict how it'll be. And I think that's so that we're better prepared for it, so that we handle it better, but you can only do so much. I researched a lot before the baby came, and I wish that I existed more instead. I wish that I had lived more in the moment before. I always wish that in hindsight, but it's challenging, especially when you want to feel prepared. And in some ways it is good to be prepared, but you can only do so much. So anyways, I hope that you all are having an okay time. I'm just gonna settle for okay. If you're having a great time, then that's great. And Corona is weird. And yeah, comment below your thoughts to my thoughts. I love hearing your thoughts. And like and subscribe if you haven't. And have a grand old day. Billie Eilish is great.